yeah, that's even better. Thank you. PTV, thank you. The stream justifies the existence of the HOA. You know, this is kind of a hot take, but I think the HOA, as long as it existed after you bought your house, I think it's fine. I think people, I know it sounds like anti-freedom at first, right? But when you think about it, HOAs are like basically like companies that buy up land, and then what they do is they like impose like specific rules for living there. And I think if you want to live in like a nice gated community where everybody has to do like specific things in order to maintain like the quality of the living space or the standard of the living space, like I think it makes sense, right? Like, because you can avoid some annoying things like, oh, your neighbor has like 10 fucking cars that they leave in front of their house, and they block all the they're like lining either side of the road, or they're blocking the next door neighbors like parking spaces and blah 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 blah. You know, like you can avoid stuff like that by having an HOA. And personally, I would rather have the freedom to do whatever the hell I want with my yard. But I think people should be allowed to like, it's like people should be allowed to have like, I guess like a status quo for their area if they want. Freedom of association. It's a breeding ground for Karens? Well, great news. You don't have to live there. I think Karens, this is gonna be such a hot take, but I think Karens can be good, because ultimately there's not a lot of ways, at least in America, to like maintain social order, right? Because we do have so many freedoms, which is a good thing generally, right? But a lot of people will take advantage of their freedoms at the detriment of others. So while personally I don't want a Karen like pulling up on me like, you can't have like you can't paint your the fucking house neon pink or whatever, right? Because it's like, fuck you, lady, none of your business, it's not your property. I think it makes sense if other people are like, okay, I want to live in like a nice, like maintained, orderly space. You know, I should have the option to do that. Hey there, thank you. Where are your captors keeping you? Look at that, thank you. If you can hijack an HOA to shut it down, I've done it before. I cut costs by 90%, then bribe all voters legally with omnibus votes to get a majority. Holy shit. Karens for thee, but not for me. Kind of, yeah. Because if you want Karens, like, and another thing, right, is like keeping riff-raff out, you know? This is gonna be very, very maybe not very, very spicy, but you know, like homeless people, right? It's like, that's one thing Karens can do and have like the power to do in HOAs, is if there's like a homeless person settling on the block, you know, like Karens can like shoo them away, basically. Karens can drive out. Or like loitering teenagers, you know? Karens can chase away loitering teenagers. And you can argue like, oh, well, I mean, if they're loitering at the mall or whatever, like, where else are teenagers supposed to hang out? And it's like, yeah, like, that's fair. But stuff like loitering around like houses where none of the kids live, that's like, could be overstepping if the kids live there. But Pippa is definitely a Karen. Bro, I don't talk to anyone. Somebody annoys me, I'm more of a doormat about it. I'm like, whatever. I'm not gonna get shot over this. What if we turn the homeless into tires? The best day, thank you. HOAs, even with good intentions, are always corrupted. I don't know. Also, screw those cars, our restoration projects, they're work in progress. It's just a patina. Oh, okay. Eska79, thank you. The problem with HOAs is that moral busybodies tend to gravitate to them and tyrannize the other homeowners over petty things like having cables across your yard or having certain political signs. Well, if you don't like that, then it's your fault for moving into an HOA. Here's my spicy take. I don't like political signs. I think political signs are really fucking tacky. You know, stuff like local elections and presidential elections, it's like, okay, you know, I can give those a pass, right? I still don't like them, but I can give them a pass. It doesn't matter, like, whose side they're on. Like, I get it. But when people put the fucking signs up that are like, vote no on this bill, vote yes, fucking, like, you got, like, signs in people's yards, like, talking about, like, abortion and homelessness and this and that. It's like, brother, get that shit out of your yard. I don't care if we have the same opinions on shit. Get that. Why are you putting that in your fucking yard? It's so... I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the presidential or local ones either, but I can at least give them a pass because there's usually nothing like overt on them. Daily Pass is thinking the only thing Karens are guilty of is caring too much. Has a political sign ever affected anyone's vote? Probably. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people where it's like they don't even know like an election is going on right? I mean, presidential election is going to be like everybody knows what's going on, but there'll be other things like local elections or whatever, and people won't have any idea. And so seeing a sign is like, oh, okay, well, I'll vote for the person that I need my neighbor vote for or whatever. Peer pressure. Oscar Crib, thank you. Now text Pipkin for his opinion on HOAs. Oh my god. Woo! Signs are usually placed to antagonize people. I don't know if they're necessarily meant for antagonization, but sometimes it feels like it. Sometimes it feels like it. You know what else is tacky? And I think, I'm not like, oh man, you need to like take this down or whatever, but like plus side of an HOA is that it might have rules against it. Is like I walk my dog, right? And when people have signs that are like, there's ones that say like no tress pooping or pick up your dog's waste. It's like, brother, obviously everyone should pick up their dog's waste, but you're just making your yard look tacky. And the people who aren't gonna pick up dog waste are not gonna do anything differently. You have like a sign that shows like a dog shitting in your yard, hoping that it might accomplish something. It's not gonna accomplish anything. You have one? I think they're weird. I think they're weird. Dog owners are really petty. A lot of dog owners are really petty too, and I wouldn't be surprised if they'd not clean up after their animal on purpose. What would the HOA say about your hole, Pippa? They would probably say I need to fill it in immediately because HOAs tend to be joyless. You know, maybe I'm trashy, but one thing I never understood about HOAs is when they're like, you can't have your trash can in your front yard, visible from the street. No, you have to buy like a divider or something to hide your trash can behind, or go put it in your backyard. What the hell's up with that? That's weird. That's deranged. Is it? Do you guys think it's tacky? It's lame? Yeah, it's gross. I don't get it. I hate it when they complain about holiday decorations. No, that's just joyless. I think that's a city thing too. That's a thing, yeah. I lived in an HOA once, and they were like, I was doing what everybody else was doing. I was just putting it on the side of the house. And they were like, you can't do that. You can't, if you do that again, we're gonna have to fine you because you're not allowed to have your trash cans visible from the sidewalk. And I'm like, what? Brother, what? It's not even like it's like super noticeable. I'm just doing what everybody else is doing, and I'm just like putting it on the side of the house next to like the fucking air compressor. Sure, thank you. A house is a large investment, and part of that value can be if it's in a decent neighborhood, and I prefer my house's value to not go down because my neighbors think it's cool to have trash can bonfires. Well, HOAs are good for that. Someone snitched, man. Average HOA moment on garbage day or regular day. You can't have it out like on regular days. You had if it was garbage day, it could be out, but if it was a regular day, you had to put it in your backyard. Malicious compliance is the only way to stay sane, in my opinion. I wasn't that like, I guess, aggressive about it. Like, it didn't bother me that much. It was annoying, yeah, but I wasn't like, oh man, I gotta like figure out a way to own them. Although it was annoying that they went after me and nobody else, even though several of my neighbors did the exact same thing, which is where I got the idea from. It's interesting how in some other countries houses aren't like, they're not like held to the same regard as they are in like America. It's like in some countries like Japan, right? Like a house is not like an appreciating asset. And it's like, what do you mean it's not an appreciating asset? Isn't there like an even more limited supply of land over there? And don't in general, like Japanese people tend to prefer like stability and not like you would think they wouldn't want their living situation always changing, because you would think they'd want like a more like regular schedule. Like what? Called earthquakes? Is that what it is? I don't know. It's very hard to get a home loan. Appreciated value is one of the reasons property is complicated. Having your property rights impeded because the next house numbers may go down sucks. Yeah.
Everybody, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Low Effort Clips. That's right, Low Effort Clips, right here on YouTube.com. Yeah, and hit the notification bell. Yeah.